there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. This is Dumb Money Live. If you don't mind, please take a moment, help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Let them know that we're on the air right now by smashing that like button. Today we are going to be talking stocks, specifically the trades that we will make if the Senate ends up being divided with a 50-50 split. But guys, I can't believe we made it to Friday and we still don't have a president.
Dude, listen, you know, I kind of called this a few days ago, but at this point, I'm trying to figure out why they won't call the election. And I think there's just so much pressure right now. There's just so much pressure.
There's so much pressure
not to call anything.
They don't want to get it wrong. They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to be the one that made it worse. You know. But yeah, they keep toggling the states on and off, showing us the various scenarios. I think we've all figured out what those scenarios are going to be. Oh, look at that! Have we already gotten up 200 likes? Wow.
What?
Did we do it? What? I can't quite see.
What?
Large.
Can you?
No, 159.
Can you sense, guys?
I didn't have my screen big enough.
Can you sense how much more calm I am today? Like in my head, it's over. Like the election trade is over. Like that piece of the trade, it's done. Like I haven't even looked at the news in like 6 or 7 hours. Like I'm just done.
They say that you need some sleep in the thing, but you do seem far more calm than you have seemed in the past, I don't know, entire week, maybe month.
Dude, I feel great. It's been a great week. It's been one of the best trading weeks of the year for me personally, as you know. Up a couple $1 million this week on the election trade.
It's awesome.
And it's all behind me now. And now it's just like, look forward, what's coming. And all I'm thinking about is this weekend, what are we gonna focus on this weekend? Like, what's the trade? And this morning we were talking, we're like, dude, there's a split Senate trade here. Dude, there's a legit split Senate trade. How does this impact the trades we're in right now?
Let's get right into it, because we are over 200 and we don't like to keep you guys waiting. Once you do our goal of hitting 200 likes, we like to get right into the topic. So let's do that. Let me just say that you may not have noticed, since the presidential election has taken all the headlines and our attention span is pretty much non-existent, but while the presidential candidates are trying to get to that magic 270, the Senate is sitting on the sidelines with races called right now for 48 senators on the Democrat side, 48 Republican side, and both of the Senate races in Georgia appear to be headed towards runoffs where control of the Senate will ultimately be determined. So today on Dumb Money, we're going to be talking about what happens to the stock market if the Senate ends up being a 50-50 split. This is Dumb Money Live with Chris Camillo, Dave Hansen, and Jordan McLean, streaming live on YouTube. We are Dumb Money. Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. So for this 50-50 scenario to play out, Democrats would need to win both seats in Georgia's Senate runoff election. That's happening on January 5th. And Georgia, historically a very conservative state, but the presidential race essentially is a tie at this hour. Biden and Trump both have 49.4% of the vote, and 98% of the ballots are counted so far. And you know, if it's that close in the presidential race and we have this runoff happening on January 5th, all eyes are definitely going to be on this runoff. And that's where we need to start being prepared, having that prepared mind for sure. What happens if it is a 50-50.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a conservative state, but we've got to look at, there are some liberal hotspots, right? So there are some urban centers that lean a little bit more left, as we all know if we've been watching CNN or Fox News, and they've been taking us through all these counties.
You know exactly which parts of the states are.
I know so much about.
Wait, Jordan, what are you talking about right now? Are you talking about Georgia?
Georgia.
We're talking about Georgia. Yeah.
Okay, can you explain like what the runoff situation is? So like I don't think most people really understand what's about to happen in January. Could you explain the whole setup for it?
Me? I have to pull up my notes.
Yeah, I can explain.
Basically, right?
There's two senators in Georgia, and it's too close to call. And we knew before this election that it was going to be a runoff, basically, right? It's not a surprise, but we also know that it's happening January 5th, and so it's kind of like this this looming thing. We just didn't know that it would be 48 to 48. We didn't know that these 2 seats would determine control of the Senate.
So we've got.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think are the? Go ahead, Jordan.
Okay, so right now, and you sent this out, Chris. You sent out, and again, we know that you don't like betting odds for what is actually going to happen in real life, but right now it's a split on the betting odds, right? So you've got the Democrat Warnock versus Loeffler. That's one of the Senate races. And then you've got Ossoff versus Perdue in the other Senate race, right? It looks like, right now it looks like it'd be, you'd have one win for the Republicans and one loss for the Republicans, or vice versa, whichever way you look at it. And so the sweep in Georgia right now doesn't look like a lock. It looks like a toss-up. And so we really don't know what's going to happen, but we know that it's really tight, and so it will go down to a runoff next month.
So what does that mean if if the Democrats win both? What does that mean for the Senate? If it's like 50-50 or 50-50 split? How does that work?
It basically means both sides have to. It basically means nothing's going to get done, and the tiebreaker would be the vice president.
Okay, so essentially, we're in a situation where the Democrats technically have control, but the way I'm interpreting this, they technically have control, but it's next to impossible to get anything done when you have no margin for error, meaning you have to convince every single member. And by the way, there are 2 types of votes that happen in the Senate, right? Most votes require 60 votes, right? You have to have 60.
Well, that's a relatively
senators.
New law that was put in. I believe the Republicans put that in, I don't know, few years ago. That they could actually roll that
50% rule
law back.
You need to have 60 votes to get anything approved in the Senate, except for budget reconciliation. Okay, so there's this way that they can do a budget reconciliation and kind of take from one thing and move to another. That's more complex, but if they do it through that method, they can get something approved at 50%, right? So basically, they can get something approved by having 50, just by getting every single senator plus the one, right? So technically, if the Democrats get both seats and the tiebreaker, and they can convince every single Democratic senator, that I think includes 2 independents, to get on board with what they're trying to do, then they would have control. But how often is that going to happen? Under a budget reconciliation clause? Almost never, right? So I think I'm walking away, guys, from this thinking that the real implications from this probably aren't that big. They're not that big. And if anything, it means they have to work together, right? But don't you think there's a difference between what reality is and what perception is?
Yeah.
Just the mere fact that they might have control. Investors aren't, all the Robin Hooders, right? Like,
everyone's going to be excited that we're going to get crazy stimulus. And we're going to get some stimulus anyway, right?
Yeah, look, there's 2 sides of it, right? There's the crazy stimulus, which is something that people really want. But on the flip side, you've got the ability to repeal some of the tax cuts, right? Which is can be viewed as a negative. But at 50-50,
But at 50-50, yeah, that doesn't seem like anything's going to get pushed through. And the other thing that won't get pushed through is undoing things that are harmful to big business. All the regulatory stuff that has been lightened up over the past 4 years. It's going to be hard for them to put that stuff back into place. So that's good for those industries that are less regulated now than they were 4 years ago.
Yeah, Jordan, Dave, I think that the whole concept of unraveling the tax stuff, especially on the corporate side, is part of what pressured the market today. Part of it, because the thought of them having control and technically having a slightly better chance of doing that was probably a net negative for the market today, is what I'm kind of thinking. The reality is probably nothing gets done. And I hate to say it, the fact that it's split, or might be split, or even if it's not split, doesn't really matter, because if it's that close, it's almost the equivalent of it being split. Meaning that for the first time in a while, you know what? They're going to have to actually work. They're going to actually have to talk to each other. They're going to actually have to compromise and actually work their butts off to get stuff done. It might actually be
do what politicians do best and not work together and not compromise and just absolutely get zero done. I think that's the more likely scenario. Do you think they're like, oh no, you know what? We got to do good for the American people. We got to work hard now. No, these are politicians. They are professional do-nothing candidates.
I'm trying to be an optimist. We're going into the weekend. The country is at odds with each other. I'm trying to be an optimist, not a cynic. But you're probably right, Dave. You're probably right.
I mean, well, we've seen. I can't remember the exact time that we've had a divided Senate before, but it just seems like it's perfect for a do-nothing era.
Yeah, and that's a good guys. That's a good thing.
It's a great thing. That's what the market wants. The market hates uncertainty, and if you can be certain that nothing's going to get done, that's perfect.
That's the best kind of certainty you can get. No better certainty than a certainty that nothing happens.
The market hates it when they don't know what's going to happen, and then they don't like change, right? Whether it's a good change or a bad change, they just don't like change, and so it's great for the market if we can just have a time period where nothing happens, and it's all just like a very relaxed, everyone's just kind of retired, kicking back. What's the average age of the Senate these years? They're pretty much, half retired anyway.
So let's talk about how this is impacting our trading, okay, in our portfolios, because I do actually think there's probably some trades here, okay? There's probably, I don't know if there's any like some clean trades here, but there's probably a way to think about this, if nothing else.
So the way I'm thinking about it is that most likely a lot of the like cracking down on the big tech platforms, that perhaps that rhetoric starts to dissipate a little bit.
That's interesting.
I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. If nobody's doing their job, then they'll stop looking for, Yeah,
look, I mean, it's a House that holds the hearings, right? And so, those things could keep on happening. But then what are they going to push through? Nothing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me ask you this. Even before it happens, guys, there's going to be an incredible amount of money spent in Georgia on advertising, right? Like incredible. They're about to have an unexpected rush of advertising. If there's any ad companies that have a concentration in Georgia, that could be interesting. I haven't really thought about that too much.
Literally, yeah. If you think about how much ad money was spent just in the last few weeks nationwide, and now they're going to focus that entire funnel of money down to Georgia. Oh, I'd hate to have to watch media there.
I heard something on the news earlier, and I might have misheard, but that the Trump campaign was pretty much out of money. Is that true?
Well, that's probably what they're saying.
Yeah,
I think both sides are saying they're out of money and trying to raise more. I subscribe to both of their texts because, I like to know what their marketing message is, and I keep getting asked for more money. It's like, no, the election's over. Why do you need money? It was like on election night. They're like, we still need more money. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do anything with that money tonight.
I don't care how close to an election is. There's 0% chance that I'm ever going to donate money to a political campaign. I just can't see it happening. I will donate to all sorts of charities. I can't get behind it. You know what I mean? I just think there's so much better ways to donate your money than for a politician.
I get it.
Larry says nobody's going to watch the news anymore. CNN is going bankrupt. That was one of my Biden trades, or New York Times was one of my Trump trades actually, because even though he calls it the failing New York Times, they actually did incredible during that time frame. Who knows? I mean, they're still going to do. They're the last remaining newspaper in America, right?
I'll tell you how it's impacting my stuff, guys. I was planning on lightening up a little bit on some of my larger Biden trades. Like I got a ton of TAN, right? Like the solar ETF. I got an insane amount of TAN, an insane amount. I got like $1.5 million of this thing. I have an insane amount of components that go in it, plus all these EV stocks. I felt like I was in so heavy for a split government that I was like, it's a split government. I'm almost positioned somewhere between a blue wave and a split government. I feel I need to get closer to a split government, but now with this potential for it to be a technical blue wave, I feel like I'm going to stay in those trades a little bit longer. I'm going to stay in them for a while regardless, but I'm going to stay in those trades at 100% a little bit longer. Yep. Okay. Also, my ammo trade, right? My Vista Outdoors, my Ruger, my Smith & Wesson, right? Like I have all those trades. Today I was planning on lightening up on a lot of those. That was my plan going into the weekend. But now that I start to realize that, hey, this is a legit possibility that the Democrats could, on paper at least, win the majority of the Senate, I feel like that having that hover over people's heads is going to be like, it's going to be a floor on all those stocks, right? It's going to be a little bit of a floor because we know that in a split government, good luck trying to do too much when it comes to gun control, right? But if they can control the Senate, that's something that they might be able to pull off, quite honestly. And so I think that's like a floor on Vista Outdoors and Ruger and all these guys.
Were to get to...
that's the biggest takeaway I have from this whole split Senate. That's my trade. My trade is to remain in my Biden portfolio at full strength for a little bit longer and then start to taper it down.
A little more than a floor. Is up 7% today, Vista Outdoors.
I know.
It was great.
So today is the day that I did what I said I was going to do, though, with Vista Outdoors. I put my trailing stop order in. Put a pretty big... No, it didn't hit. And it won't. But look at that. It just went right in my... That's why I use some of these technical things that Chris thinks I'm crazy, because I'm not going to watch Vista Outdoors as closely as you do. I'm ready to sell it when it starts to drop. So I think it's a 15% trailing stop order, which basically would give back, a day and a half worth of their gains.
Yeah, don't worry, Dave. The hedge funds will take out all those trailing stops, and guys like you, they do that every once in a while. They'll just sweep you out and then come right back.
Well, that's why
I sweep out.
I never do it at 10%. I never do it at 15. I'll do it at like 15 and a half. Because you know that they hit those triggers, and whether it's intentional or not, it seems to work out that way.
Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff.
Boom! Did you see Roku today?
We've got a potential ad spin ticker, GRY, from Chris Sharp. Great television, heavily focused in Georgia. Maybe we'll look at it.
I will look at that.
Nice, Chris. All right, man.
It's worth a look. It's worth a look. We should look at it.
I'll take a look.
I have no idea. I mean, I've never looked at the ticker before in my life, so I don't think any of us could talk about it right now, but we'll look at it this weekekend. Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take a look. Let's throw that into Discord. Have the community kind of vet that one. See if it has any legs.
Did
guys,
you say GRY?
I did. By the way, a little cleanup on last night. As you know, I kind of bought some puts to protect my Peloton position overnight. I sold those puts, man, right when the market opened. I got out of them at about a 50% loss, so no big deal. I lost. It was about a 43K loss on a $4.5 million Peloton position, and I was just riding Peloton the rest of the day. So I'm back in full long on Peloton. I did have to close out a few of my TAN calls that expired today, and I did also. And by the way, I'm going off track here. I know I'm going off track. Is there anything else on the split government? I don't think there's like a ton on the split government trade. Am I missing anything?
It's really more just this is the time to be thinking about it. I haven't come up with all of the firm things that I must do, but this is going down the right path because we know it's going to be somewhere between somewhere within the range of 2 seats.
Yeah. I don't think it's that important. I think the perception of it is way more important than the thing itself. So I think the advertising dollars are going to go through the roof. That will happen. I do think that people are going to have this cloud over them, depending on who you are, either a dark cloud or a beautiful sunny cloud
with a rainbow coming out of it.
A beautiful sunny cloud. What is that?
I don't know, a cloud that has sun streaks like coming right through it.
Like on a nice day on the weather map.
What side of the aisle you're on.
Where the sun is wearing sunglasses.
I've been watching maps all week, right? So I think that is going to impact a lot of these Biden trades. And I think that, like I said, I think it's a floor. I think it's a floor in a lot of the Biden trades for the next couple months until this thing happens, or at least until we get polling. Is anybody gonna trust the polling on these people? No, probably not,
no.
Right?
I mean, we already had a pretty accurate poll. It's called the election. So they're going to take a look at those results and then try to predict how many people who didn't vote on election day or before are going to vote in this next election. That's what it comes down to.
See, Dave.
But here's the other thing. How about the people that did vote that now aren't going to vote because they're like, oh, now it's,
I think that if
I really just cared about.
Jordan's
right. You really think people are going to not vote?
This is a totally different election. Totally different.
I think that if you're in a state, maybe do they have enough TV there to know that they're in a state that everyone in the country wants to watch the race, and people are considering moving there just to be able to vote?
Dave, are you kidding me? This state gets to control the destiny of the United States.
And that's
theoretically on paper for the next 4 years. The question I have that I didn't research. We need a research team. Do
Discord.
You get to vote if you didn't vote the first time? Like, you have to have been registered
in a runoff election. I'm pretty sure.
Been registered to vote.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if you're registered to vote, you're allowed to vote in a runoff election. It's not like you had to vote in the first election. It's not like a do-over.
But can you register right now to vote, and get to vote in the runoff? Like, that's an interesting question, right?
Let's ask Google.
You ask Google. By the way, when you're looking that up on Google, I do want to say someone on here was just asking about the shirt. Where do you get it? I don't know, but Benzinga just sent me this shirt because they've been writing articles about our show.
Hey, Raznick's on our chat. I saw him like 10 minutes ago.
He's on there?
Raznick. Yeah.
Benzinga. And here's the funny part. So Raznick literally texted me and said, I'm sending you a shirt. I'm like, oh, a Benzinga shirt. I love Benzinga, but I don't really wear corporate shirts. And so I got the shirt and I opened it up and it's so nice. I was like, it's a really cool shirt, man. It fits well. The design is awesome. It's super cool. Benzinga knows what they're doing when it comes to that stuff. Raznick, if you're there, can people buy this, man? Or do we need to throw these shirts up in the Dumb Money merch store or what?
I mean, we could do it.
Should he be paying me? Shouldn't he be paying me to wear this shirt? Isn't that how it works on YouTube?
No, I think the Federal Trade Commission only requires you disclose that he gave it to you.
Oh, he did give it to me. Okay, he did give it to me. So
everything's okay now.
And I'm gonna force him to buy me a dinner at some point for it.
Ooh, I don't know if that's legal.
Right.
No, you're allowed to do whatever you want, as long as you disclose it.
Okay.
Okay, so runoff dates for the 2020 general election are December 1st. State and local races, voter registration deadline was October 5th. For the January 5th federal races, voter registration deadline is December 7th. So there's still time to register in Georgia. Now, the big question is there a residency requirement? Like, did you have to live there for 6 months? Or are people just going to start moving there and filling up any vacant real estate in Georgia to be able to register to vote there? Or do people just not realize how critical every single vote will be in that state?
I don't know. I just know they're going to spend a lot of advertising on it, and it's just going to be a factor. People are going to be thinking about this with every investment decision. It's going to be over our heads for a couple months, and that has an impact on the market, has an impact on sectors, that's for sure. I don't know that if it looks like it's a dicey situation, I might want to start to pair off some of these huge Biden trades a little bit when we get closer to that election, the runoff election.
If anyone is watching us right now in Georgia, let us know. Have you registered? Did you vote? Are you going to vote the next time? We don't care who you vote for. We just want to make sure you vote. And you have until December 7th to register for the runoff. You can go to georgia.gov for more information. That's where I got my information, georgia.gov.
That'd be a really unscientific poll, Dave. We're going off of that data. But listen, I don't know. I'm officially, I think, done with elections. As of this show, when we're done with the show today, I felt like we've gone in so deep on the election trade.
Yeah.
For so long, I've been thinking about this, and this week has been so insane, and it worked out from a trade perspective, not from a political perspective, because we're apolitical on the show. From a trade perspective, it just worked out so beautifully this week. A beautiful. What would Trump say? What adjective would he give it?
It's huge. It's what does he say?
He says a word. There's like he used it. Anyway, it's been a wonderful, perfect week.
That sounds like something you would say. Wonderful and perfect. Like the smallest
perfect.
Smallest adjectives you can come up with.
Tremendous. That's the word. There it is.
Magnificent.
Daniel, this has been a tremendous trade. This was a tremendous trade.
Was it a tremendous trade? How tremendous was it?
Where she goes just said, "My glass is huge."
Oh, and I did see in the chat that alcohol sales have been up during the election, and I also saw in yesterday's live chat, and you guys don't know that I usually go back and watch the show just so I can read the chat, because there's so much going on during the show that I don't always see it all. But people are asking if I was going to buy all of the Tesla tequila that came out. And you know what I did last night? I bought the maximum amount that you're allowed to buy for a household, which is 2 bottles. So.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like $500 for the tequila,
yes.
right?
Dude, I'm buying it right now.
No,
you can just go on and buy it right now.
Well, I may have sold out. I think it sold out last night. I knew it was going to sell out.
Oh.
Because when he sold the...
So, like, what's the deal? Does somebody make... Who makes it?
It's a real tequila.
Decent tequila?
Yeah, it's a real tequila, and it's a beautiful bottle.
I mean, the bottle looks really cool. 0% chance I'm spending that much money for a bottle.
I'm thinking one of them will end up right here on the shelf as a decoration for all of my stock trading friends. And then I'll probably give the other one... hopefully he's not watching. I'll probably give the other one to my dad for Christmas. Because what do you give? What do you give Ron Hansen for Christmas?
I'm going to say something really important right now. I would rather have taken that $500 and bought a share of Tesla than buy the tequila.
I already have so much Tesla stock. I need to diversify into Tesla tequila.
Loaded up in Tesla, dude. Loaded up. This one comment. And the history of trades, I love Trump speak. I'm gonna miss this stuff so much.
Do you know what we should do? Since Jordan has his wine out for this, we should make Friday our show where we just have a cocktail and do a show in the afternoon.
100%. I'm all in. We could call it
the Dumb Money Happy Hour. It's its own special show. We could invite guests in and just have a hangout.
Dude, totally. That Friday we need to start. By the way, guys, we're gonna start. What a way to end up this tremendous week. We're going to start pulling our community back onto the show, guys. We have a handful of community members that are doing some really interesting things. We're going to bring them on the show, have them talk about their analysis on various social arb stocks. This will all come out over the next few weeks. We just had to get the election behind us, okay? This is a big week, huge election. Now that it is behind us, I can start to think about other stuff. And I already made my first trade again, thinking about other things. And it usually goes wrong.
You made another trade already on Friday before the election has been called? You've moved on. You're that done with the election.
Yes, because I'm already thinking about the big thing, which is the pandemic. By
the way, did you see that graph that I sent you, Chris?
What?
Did you see that graph that I sent you?
No.
Illinois?
Oh, is it going nuts?
Dude, I sent it to you and Dave.
By email?
Text? Yeah, no. I texted it to you. Just go to jordanmcclain.com, click on, I think, Illinois.
Okay.
It's shocking.
All right, let's pull that up. By the way, in our friend... let me tell you about the trade. I bought 1.8 million. I sold short $1.8 million of Booking.com again, right? So I'm starting to. I feel like the next few days. I don't know how long it's going to last, but the next few days could be kind of a new attention back to the pandemic, and which has been going insane. I think Jordan's about to show us how insane. By the way, did you get that text, guys? We won't name them, but someone in our friend group, a couple. Had the virus, and they were sick for 13 days, and one of them was in the ER, has been hospitalized.
What?
And he is younger than us, I think. I'm pretty sure that he's younger than us.
Yeah.
He's
probably
that's
my
the
age.
Story.
That scares the hell out of me. He is a healthy guy, younger than us, and he is been in the hospital for days. I think he's okay now, but what's interesting is they were kind of like, I don't want to say COVID deniers, but I think they've been out and about pretty hardcore all summer. Like, I don't think they were really worried about any of this stuff. And and I think they came back, and one of the things they said was, you do not want to mess with this. They're it seems like it really shook them. So one example, of course, and there's millions, but that scares me.
Yeah.
Are you pulling up the chart?
I'm trying to. I was not prepared. I didn't know I was going to be doing graphics today. So here we go. Get back to studio mode and
Plane.com, for those of y'all that don't know,
did you double click on
pandemic
it?
tracker.
there it is.
Look at that! Oh my gosh, that is not good. That is not good at all.
You know what I didn't like, Jordan, was I don't know if it was an anomaly or not, but the last 48 hours, it looks like the deaths have started to spike in the last 24 to 40 hours.
Oh, that's
and not necessarily in Illinois, but like
too.
just national.
Well, yeah, they have a definite high right there at 95, the highest it's been since June.
So guys, you know what I've been saying about this? People have not been like taking any precautions. Like, as it's been getting worse the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've actually seen people getting more aggressive, at least here in Dallas, doing stuff, partying, going out, big parties. I know of multiple parties of 60, 70, 80 people indoors that I'm aware of. I think they were going on all throughout our neighborhood. I mean, it's people's free choice to do it. I don't have any issue with people that do that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're analyzing the impact it will have on the infection rate, all the anecdotal data that I'm seeing in terms of human behavior would lead me to believe that, Jordan, what you just pulled up for Chicago is going to continue and probably get worse for probably 3 to 5 weeks, I would imagine. Does that sound about right? 2 to 3, 4, 5 weeks?
Well, the thing is, nobody's talking about it, right? I mean, we've had all this election coverage. That's all the news outlets are talking about, and people. I don't know if people even realize that it's cruising up this bad again. It's not in people's face as much as it's been in the past. That's for sure.
Yeah, because our capacity to take in information is limited to, we get one headline and that's it. And right now it is,
well,
who's the president going to be?
That's why I went short again on booking today. That's why, like, and I was trying to figure out, should I go in? I wanted to go in with 2,000 shares, 3.7 million, and I honestly forgot to put the second half of the order in, and I'll probably go short. Depending on what happens this weekend, I might go short another 1,000 shares Monday morning. So that's back.
Not good.
Not good.
No. What, or are you guys going to trade it at all, or what are you doing? What's
I just lowered my chair because I was way too high in the frame compared. Like it was like this, and it just looked awkward because you guys were.
Am I too high? Do I need to?
So I'm just.
Well, I can't. I'm already.
I just lowered myself to. I mean, that's awkwardly too much headroom, but you guys both pointed your cameras at the ceiling, so I just thought I'd fall into place.
Is that max headroom? Oh, look, I can go up.
Guys,
it's a Friday show.
Any Q&A out there? I don't care if it's about the pandemic, about the Senate, and anything random. Like, what's going on? Someone said SPH was up after hours. Why would that be on a Friday?
I have no idea. I didn't know about that.
That doesn't really make sense to me. I'm going to pull it up right now to see what's going on.
Did you see my
Suburban
note in Discord on SPH in the SPH group today? I targeted it to you, Chris.
What was the note?
It was this.
Wait,
you know,
what?
yesterday we were talking about how you were going to go a deep dive on the weather and see what you were going to do with this whole SPH trade, which is suburban propane.
Oh,
yeah. And I said that, you know, my Farmer's Almanac said it's not going to be a cold winter. I sent you a screenshot from Al Roker this morning, standing in front of a map where he says pretty much across the country it's between 5 degrees above normal and 25 degrees above normal. And it's like the whole map was a heat map of how much above normal it is, and 5 to 25 degrees above normal. And it's pretty dramatic. So
that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot.
So here is
I'm gonna have to do
SPH.
It does look like this. So on TD, I can see a spike. And right now the spread's just insane. It's 16.25 and 15.02.
Nah,
so
that looks like a rogue trade to me.
Yeah, it's probably a rogue trade.
It's ticked up just a little, but in this after hours, it hasn't moved.
Guys,
the spread's crazy, so nobody's buying it right now.
Yes, we are still in GAN, guys, GAN, but we just haven't been paying a lot of attention to it. I know I haven't, so like I'm only in 15,000 shares at my peak. I was at 85,000 shares of GAN. I'm only at 15,000 right now. Chris, what's your thought about Trump saying he will take this to the Supreme Court? Listen, guys, I've been saying this all week. All my ratio data pointed to Biden winning Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. And I've been sticking with that all week long. And I don't think that there's much you can do when you have that many states to battle. If it was one state, that's fine. Pennsylvania, what you have to understand, guys, the Supreme Court issue that is most at play is a handful of votes. I think it's about 10,000 ballots. The Supreme Court actually said that they would potentially change their mind on that after the election. So I think that's what people are referring to. It looks like he's going to win by considerably more than 10,000 ballots. So I don't think it's meaningful. I don't think it's material. I think the market will kind of understand that over the course of the next week. Not to say that, that way it still won't happen. I think right now it's a ton of noise. I think you're going to see people start to spread that out, and there'll still be the kind of Trump consortium pushing that. I don't see it as a market issue. I just don't. Jordan, am I missing something?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think there are some real issues that that their legal team can bring up. This is a pretty unconventional race. There's all sorts of little problems. And I brought this up before. The biggest problem is that there's not we've got national elections for people that are governing the entire United States, but yet the races and the way that we collect ballots and everything is different from state to state, right? And so what could come out of this is maybe some uniformity between states on how we run elections, hopefully. So I think you could see some legislation come out of this. I don't think it'll change the outcome.
Yeah, I agree. People want to know what we think about. By the way, guys, I've been so consumed by all this. I didn't even see the Roku news. I haven't even read Roku news yet, right, guys? I know it's amazing. Me and Dave are so heavy in Roku. What a day for Roku.
So good.
Love Roku. Container Store, we exited that trade. At least I did. Unless there's a new social arb trade on Container Store, I'm out. So I'm not looking at Container Store right now. If there's a new chance to arb something, I'll get back in. But right now, I'm totally out of Container Store.
So do you think that we will see another good bump on Biden stocks after it is official? I kind of think it's already priced in. I think the stock market has basically made the call that the networks are not willing to make yet, and it's priced in.
Yeah. I think it's priced in, but when I say priced in, I mean priced in by people that are actively trading it. Where I think it's potentially not priced in is we have this effect of when you have a president now, once that person is, fully in office and it's known that that person is going to be in office, we are about to see a series of articles come out and news stories over the next 2 to 4 weeks. And there will be thousands of articles about what stocks to trade under this new presidency. There will be blogs. There will be vlogs. Everyone is going to be talking about how do I invest for a Biden administration.
I'm so glad that we've already made those episodes so that we can just move on, and because that's old news at that point. We're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, but
the articles will just refer to our videos.
I hope
and then they can. Yeah.
That's what will happen too. And so what I'm getting at, Dave, is that there will be a tail on this trade. You never know how big the tail is going to be as retail traders and even funds start to position themselves. We all think of hedge funds as people that are really nimble. They're not. Believe me, they're not. These guys are so
I think
slow.
it just depends on the fun, Chris.
It depends on the fun. Some are super nimble. Some are the polar opposite. What's
That's
that?
Al Roker in the weather map this morning. This is the picture I sent you.
That's depressing for SPH.
Next week.
Listen, I'm gonna dive into that this weekend. I'm fine with it being warm this week, as long as it's not going to stay warm for the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? If it's going to stay warm all month, I can guarantee you I'm going to cut that SPH and that UGI position by 50%. I'm going to do it. I'm going to cut it by 50%.
Man, UGI ran up, didn't it?
I haven't been keeping track of them.
Yeah, really. It ran 2 days.
You know my rule. I don't look at stock price, really. I try not to.
Tim White saying that he put GAN in his long-term account, forgetting about it. That's kind of what I did. You sold off half of yours. I'm still in it way too much, but I think that they're a company that I like. I may be wrong, but I like it.
They're a company in my mind that must execute. I will not be invested in GAN unless they continue to execute. They continue to win deals, win new deals.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
No, they can't stop working at that company. They can't act like the government and just stop working. They have to.
Absolutely not. It's a sales company. They have to continue to sell Indian casinos left and right, like get new clients all the time. So I like them, but I need to see them execute. Dave, your webcam quality is unnecessarily high. I agree. Until you can raise my quality, you're gonna have to lower yours.
Really? It doesn't even look that amazing.
It's not a webcam, dude. It's like full. This is full-on camera equipment, guys. This is not.
Dave has $100,000 of equipment filming him right now. No webcam.
I wish I did. That would be really cool. Then I'd be using that camera that moves over there on the tracks.
And just so you know, when my camera, I had to send it to Dave's house, and he set all the settings for me. And then I came back and put it on. That's how I do this every day.
But here's what we know. What we want to know, Dave. If you did that, would you put it on a track, or would you put it on a skateboard or roller skates?
Oh no, I would definitely use. Well, I can't remember the name of the company. If Orlando's on, he'll know. But the one that I got is like the cheapest one you can buy off of Amazon, because I just needed it for one video, bought it, and it's been sitting there ever since. And I rarely use it because it's such a pain to get the camera lined up, because you have to manually say this is the starting point and this is the ending point, and you have to point it, and it does this like parallax motion. It's just a pain, so I never use it. But I did just buy a second camera, and so now I have like a permanent second camera setup. So I might, if I could find a reason to just like randomly cut to the wide shot, that would be. be on the lookout for upped production game here on the Dumb Money Live channel.
Hey, CLCT, Collector's Universe, that's a follow the data stock for me. So I will be closely monitoring G-Trend data on, Pokemon cards and basketball cards and, all the different stuff that drives grading, like card grading, people that are searching for card grading. I'll continue to search for how behind they are in terms of getting around to grading. Like, that's definitely a follow the data stock. I am out of that stock the second that I think this whole card trend starts to flatten out or reverse on itself. Okay, so as long as I see the trend continuing to build, I'll stay in CLCT, Collector's Universe. Fiverr and Upwork, I feel don't you guys feel like Fiverr and Upwork are two of the stocks that a handful of people in our Discord community have been like bombarding us with all summer, and we just haven't been talking about them, haven't been trading them. They've been killing it. And it's just like, I could only handle so much, and I just could never get around to researching.
Fiverr, Upwork, and the other one that just blew me away, and I saw it on the Discord the day before earnings, Pinterest. And it was someone wrote a summary of like, here are 5 stocks that I'm looking at, and Pinterest was on it. I was like, oh, Pinterest is really one that I kind of like. But here's Fiverr. Fiverr's just on fire. Here's Pinterest.
Dave, Pinterest? Do you remember when we did that Etsy episode about a week and a half ago, and I bought a ton of Etsy? Well, right about that time, I was simultaneously researching Pinterest, obviously, but for some reason, I must have misread something and thought that Pinterest had just released earnings. So I'm like, I'm not going to mess with Pinterest. They just came out of earnings. There's not much opportunity to arb them, right? If they just had earnings. And earnings hadn't come out. It was like coming out the following week, and I missed it because I was actually equally interested in Pinterest. Just my mistake. Paying for it now. What else we got, guys? Nikola. Still shorting Nikola. Long Neo. We're going to talk about that in another week or two with Leon. Space, guys. You know us. We're not in space because we're in Elon's SpaceX. By the way, someone asked about what's it called? Unity. We have been invested in Unity since what? $11 a share when it was private, or $8?
I think we're like $13.
Wow,
13.
look at that.
So yeah, we've been in Unity, a lot of Unity, since $13 a share. When do we get our Unity shares? Is it
like a year and a half ago? Maybe
no, but
2
when
years
do we
ago?
when
actually
they give them to us?
Oh,
yeah, when are we out of our
We're only
lockup?
like a month and a half in, so we've got like 4.5 months to go.
So
Okay.
this, September
that was one of our
18th, it looks like.
So like March? Yeah.
Guys, we are up literally $3 million+ in our Unity investment. We invested in Unity before it was like even something that people thought about. Like obviously the gaming community knows Unity pretty well.
Yeah, Chris and I actually had a conversation about Unity today.
Yep, we did.
Yep.
We did. Trying to figure out what to do, how to handle that, when to hedge it. God, you guys love Planet 13, man. Yeah, we'll talk about. We already talked about Planet 13 yesterday. What else? AMD. I know they got a new chip competing with NVIDIA. I'm already in NVIDIA pretty heavy, guys. I don't have time to research AMD. Too much other stuff. It's a hard one to arb.
Man, AMD. Oh, I wish I'd thrown everything into it like 2 years ago. Man, they have killed it.
I know. Palantir. I don't want to discuss Palantir because I'm just not on top of that stuff.
Yeah.
DraftKings. I'm like chilling out, staying out of right now because, guys, I honestly think that sports might get canceled in a few weeks. I know it seems insane right now, but I think college sports is at risk. Whether it gets canceled or not, I think the threat of it getting canceled, if we start to see bigger outbreaks, will cause concern for DraftKings. So it's just not something I want to be in right this second. Tattooed Chef.
Oh,
dude, Jordan, have you ever eaten any of their stuff? Like, it's cauliflower. It's all cauliflower based, like prepackaged frozen food.
If it ain't at Costco, we're not eating it. So,
Tattooed Chef, we're gonna have them in a future episode, guys. I think it's a super interesting company, but I have nothing to say in terms of like long short.
Yeah, we looked into it a little bit.
By the way,
but not
even when I
too
say
much.
something like that, we're not financial advisors. Don't do what we do. We don't need a risk tolerance. This is just what we do, and it's just following our methodology, right?
Oh wait, Jeff Lux says it is at Costco, so maybe I've had it. I don't know. I'll have to.
Dude, you got to check. It's frozen?
I will figure this out. I will figure this out.
I want to figure this out because, it was a hot IPO that
I know people keep asking about it, but we keep focusing on other things. We're both invested in another cauliflower company.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But that's not a that's a very small, well, not very small, private company. They might go Outer Isle. We're investing in a company called Outer Isle, and they do cauliflower pizza crust and bread thins, and they are killing it. Oh man, now Tattooed Chef. Let's see I want to see what the chart looks like. I'm trying to pull up the Ameritrade. 1990. I think they're below their IPO price. Ameritrade's like broken right now.
Some of these like smaller cap stocks, I get no charting on with TD Ameritrade. It makes me.
Oh, nuts. Is that why? Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to like look up the chart for like Hyliion today, and like it literally, you pull it up, you go past the 5-day, and it's it disappears. There's like zero data.
Aren't they Shell or something?
Yeah.
What's that?
What is Hyliion's
We need to take
symbol?
a look at Tattooed Chef.
HYLN. Because
guys, we're all about the cauliflower trade. Like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we were so in on the cauliflower trade. the fact that they're now trading below their IPO price, you know, it's worth taking a look into. Jordan, I think they have major issues at Tattooed Chef of ramping up production because I hear it's really sparse, very little SKUs on the retail shelf, which is a potential good sign. But before they have their first earnings, we need to look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna have a whole episode on Neo. So just hang with us a couple weeks. It'll be next week or the week after. We'll do that Neo episode. Guys, nothing else here.
People are saying you need some sleep, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very nice to say, but I just want to point out that people say you're looking a little rough right now.
I see. Yeah. All right. I have to shave. If I shave, you will see me Monday morning. I will be fresh, shaved, and ready to go.
I'll tell you something. I went to bed. Guess what time I went to bed at last night, Chris? It's gonna blow your mind.
9?
8:45.
What?
Oh my.
I was.
So if you ever wonder why I don't respond to you at night, it's because I'm sleeping.
You're sleeping, dude?
I have my phone set to. Oh, I did see someone wants to know more about what phones we got. I have my phone set to like go to do not disturb mode. I think at like 10 p.m. so I don't hear any texts or anything after that. But I was up until like 2, maybe later, and then I couldn't sleep because I was up so late, and then I was like, I started Googling things while in bed, and you never want to do that. That's.
Dave, do you have any issues falling asleep sometimes?
Yeah. It just depends. Sometimes I can fall right asleep.
Do you have a weighted blanket yet?
Say it again?
Do you use the weighted blanket yet?
No, but I have heavier
I'm
sheets.
gonna buy, Dave. I'm gonna buy my weighted blanket for you. I'll order it right now. It's on me. It's tiny. It's not like a big.
Which one do you use, Chris?
Oh, dude, it's a 10-pound. I think it's like 2.5 feet wide by 4 feet long. So it's like maybe 5 feet long at the most. Probably 4.5 feet long. It is such a game changer. Let me just tell you how big of a game changer it is. I can't even go to sleep without it anymore. Like I will not be able to. Once you start using it for a couple weeks,
I do want to try that.
What it does, we've talked about this so many times. I invented this, as you know, 10 years ago, and made a terrible version of it.
Nobody that's watching the channel knows this, but Chris he kind of invented the weighted blanket long before
it was a real thing.
The best part is he made like a mock-up that had like plastic bags filled with water, and he sent it home with his interns to sleep with.
Yes, I
so
did.
They would experiment sleeping with this like ghetto water bag thing.
Oh, you have a picture of
it. Is. That is the prototype of the water-based. Those are Ziploc bags that are like stapled onto an actual towel or something. They didn't think through the fact that the staples would puncture and leak water. Didn't your interns all get like soaking wet at night?
Oh my gosh, that's even better.
I had 2 people working on this for a year. We had an engineering firm hired to do this. This is all before the gravity blanket came out, guys.
No, look, people are making fun of it, right? But let me tell you something. So what Chris was worried about, and I get it, was the shipping cost of shipping all that weight around. And so he decided, you got almost free water at your tap, right? And you can have a container that's very cheap. You can fold up really small, ship it for next to nothing, and then fill it up yourself. You've got your weighted blanket, and you're done. It was a good idea.
But you know what, Jordan? Here's the problem. Here's my problem. I overthink things sometimes, right? And
overthought that.
I overthought because I did not want to take the same exact product that they were selling to autistic children, which is basically a weighted blanket, and just repurpose that for ordinary people.
Hold on, children with autism. People first language, Chris.
What?
People first language. Children with autism.
Children of autism. Okay. With autism. Sorry. My bad. I wanted to repurpose it for everybody, right? And I want to do it as cheaply as possible. So, I want, it was at the time we were going to sell it through infomercials.
Infomercials. It was infomercial era. And like, the other alternative was going to be like we're trying to come up with something you could fold that was heavy. We came up with the, like the screen, the metal screen that they put on fireplaces, that kind of mesh stuff. That was going to be a version of the blanket. Let's just sleep under that.
What people don't understand, I spent so much time researching the science behind this of why it's been used for so many years for certain people, is because it actually, the concept of having deep pressure stops your brain from firing off like neurons in your brain, right? And that actually allows you to fall asleep and to relax, the same way that lead blanket at the dentist kind of feels good when they put it on. So
chainmail blanket. Yeah.
I'm just so upset it was somebody else. I don't even know.
Not me. So I think I'm the one dissenter here because I am claustrophobic and I would freak out. Freak out.
You know why?
If you put some weight on me. No, I can't even sleep with like in the winter. I can't sleep with a heavy blanket on me. I always end up with the blanket off because like I just get creeped out with like pressing weight.
Jordan, first of all, the blanket I use is a children's size blanket. So it doesn't actually wrap all the way around you. It kind of just sits on top of you mostly. And so you never feel claustrophobic. The second piece is that you can knock the blanket off if you want. It just helps you fall asleep. So you could fall asleep, it ends up knocking off, and you're fine for the rest of the night. You just need, it's science. It's science. It just works. Dave, I'm buying one for you. Do you want navy blue, light blue, or pink?
Oh, pink for sure. No, they don't have a gray. My linens are all white and gray. That would be best.
You want white or gray?
Like a light gray.
Cool.
Very specific. Hey, I just saw that we just got some massive super chats from Giovanni. Giovanni,
$25. Oh my gosh.
Don't give us money, please. Don't give us money. What do we do with that? We'll donate it. Thank you. Yeah. Any money we get, we'll donate.
Yeah,
but I feel like we now have, it's drawn my attention to it, and so we should answer his questions because it's it's worth that much to him to know our. If we're in Neo right now, I'm not. I don't think any of us are.
I am.
You're in Neo?
I am. Yeah, I told you that.
Okay. Chris is in Neo.
Yeah, I told you I got in like 2 weeks ago.
I'm late to the game on Neo.
No, I'm in.
Then what are your top 3 picks for a 50-50 Senate split? Let me think about that too. We can each come up with one.
Understand something. A Senate split is a Democratic majority. A light one, but it is a Democratic majority. So
kind of, but you got 2 independents in there, right, Chris? So is that a Democratic majority?
I said on paper.
Everyone has to kind of.
The problem is you can't whip an independent, right?
Okay, so what I would say to do is you need to research the 2 independents, something I should have done before this show, and figure out what their views are on gun control. And if
it's less about what their views are and what they're, because they're not going to, they're not going to be subject to the Democratic vote whip, right?
Fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See what their views are. And if they're, for me, it's less about the reality, more about the perception. So I'm going to go with the deepest Biden stocks I could think of, which are TAN, TAN, the solar ETF, Vista Outdoors, which is.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm missing something right now. David with a backtick in his name said Bernie is an independent. So I guess that tells us a lot right there.
Wait, who's in it? Oh,
Bernie.
Yeah, so they're legit Democrats, basically, whether they're independent or not. So they're legit Democrats. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go with just the full out Biden stocks. Everything we've been talking about: Vista, TAN, the EVs. Just build your own portfolio of EV stocks. All the above. I mean, don't try to outsmart it, outthink it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And in a true like, if it were 50-50 and they were not able to play nice and nothing got done, I am all in on my S&P 500 ETF. And just generally speaking, I'm going to have to maybe diversify out of Tesla and get some of this NEO, because it was down a little bit today, and that seems like something.
Wait, what did you say about an S&P 500 ETF? Are you in a triple leveraged S&P 500 ETF?
I am in a triple leveraged S&P 500 ETF. No, not the S&P. No, I'm in the. I moved to the Nasdaq.
I thought you were in the T triple Q.
Yeah, I moved to the Nasdaq, but
you're in the TQs. Yeah.
But generally speaking, for a get nothing done government, I would be just bullish on just the S&P, or even like an equal weighted S&P.
That's reasonable. I mean, that's a reasonable take on it, because you're like, basically they have to work with each other. Nothing is going to get done, so obviously it's going to benefit, S&P. But as long as we get more stimulus, right?
Yes. Well, that's what I would imagine, that in the get nothing done scenario, the one thing that does get done, because they've been just dangling it in front of the American people for months, is stimulus. There's going to be something. There's got to be something.
Okay, I've got something. How long are we going? Because I have to get my big green egg started, because I'm cooking fajitas tonight.
Fine, we'll go. But just so you know, I want to say, someone's asking about pot stocks. We are going to do an entire episode on that subject, on cannabis. So stick with us. That's coming in the next few weeks. Curaleaf is my #1 holding as it relates to that. But listen, I agree, Jordan. It's Friday. I need to go hang out with my kids a little bit. Let's wrap this up, guys. It's been an awesome week. You guys have been amazing. Discord's been amazing. The market's been amazing. Gosh, what a tremendous week this is. What a tremendous trade in the history of trades.
Most tremendous week ever.
Tremendous. Amazing. So happy weekend, guys. We have a big week next week. We're going to talk about the pandemic. We're going to talk about vaccine trade. I got a lot of work to do this weekend. I got to get sleep tonight.
You do need some sleep, clearly. All right.
I need some fajitas tonight.
That sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it? I'm ordering from Chelsea. I just decided I'm getting the lava.
The molcajete? No. Is that the?
Yeah. Well, we call it lava. We're not so fancy anymore. We're calling it lava rock fajitas.
It's not fancy. That's just what it's called. Like I think that's
the actual. But it's like people don't know what that means.
People were afraid to order it because they didn't know how to say it, and they didn't want to embarrass themselves in front of the waiter. It's a.
Yeah. Would you get a molcajete fajitas or a lava rock fajita?
I get them at this place in Arlington all the time. Like, they got the molcajete and like bowl with the cheese and the meat. It's insane.
Oh, dude, I'm ordering it literally 5 minutes from now. Good. I'm ordering it. All right, guys.
We're out. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Follow us all the places at Dumb Money TV. We're Dumb Money, and we will see you here on Monday.